the biggest mistake I made was thinking that I wasn't smart enough for Bitcoin, you know?
Mhm.
I thought, "Oh, self-custody hardware, that sounds complicated, you
Yeah.
know, I
Right.
don't wanna mess it up. I don't think I can handle this, you know, I'd
Yes.
rather have the government take care of it. I'd rather have
Mhm.
someone else make
Mm.
sure I'm okay." I think what I did was I just took practice. Big mistake, I used to keep everything on an exchange, and that would give
Absolutely.
them my keys, my private keys, and them
Mhm.
access to all my funds and basically takes away everything that why I want Bitcoin, right?
Exactly.
Welcome back to the Moon with the Lunas podcast, where we will be breaking down Bitcoin for real couples and real life. Today, we have the honor and privilege to be interviewing Josh, aka the Mexican Magician.
Dirty hands, clean money. I love his content. He's always posting videos of himself, putting in real work and getting his hands dirty. He kept popping up on my timeline, so I finally started following him. Unfortunately, we were able to get him on the podcast, and here he is.
Awesome. Hey, Josh, how are you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Thanks so much. We are super excited to have you here with us. It's going to be super fun. Kind of the premise of this whole podcast is really us kind of getting on the same page with Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Anthony has obviously been educating himself for a few years now
Yeah, a few years.
and kind of let him kind of take the lead. And so I wanted to finally kind of get more education on it and be on the same page with him. So we
Mhm.
decided to start this podcast and ask some questions. And obviously, I get to educate. I feel like I'm like winning right now. I get to learn from people like you and other people that have fully educated themselves, and yeah, just super excited about it. So that's kind of what we're doing here. But if
Nice.
you wanted to kind of share a little bit about where you're from, kind of a little bit about your background.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. So basically, I'm from Southern California, right?
Nice.
My mom and my dad are both from Mexico, but
Nice.
they came over here. They immigrated. They got papers, and then I was born here with me and my brother. We have a little bit of a rough history. We didn't really have too much growing up. My dad was kind of in and out of the picture and so forth. So I had some not the best role models growing up. I also suffer from I want to say suffer. Sorry, I have
Oh, good.
dyslexia. Dyslexia, you know, it's like some learning disabilities.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think like the whole college and school thing was going to work out for me. You know, I just
Yeah.
figured I couldn't read well. Maybe something was wrong with me. I'll figure it out. So unfortunately, kind of raised more by my mom, which is, I mean, it's always good to have a mother's love, you know, but
Yeah,
without a dad, there's like a part missing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my
Absolutely.
mom always taught me to be happy, you know, so that's what I
Yeah.
tried to do. I tried to go out and find happiness. And when you don't have any direction, sometimes you get lost when you're doing that. You get into certain situations and led to like homelessness and some bad
Hmm.
situations for me, you know, but
Hmm.
I was able to get help and completely turn it around,
So
completely turn it
good.
around.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
That's
it.
Mhm.
That's
amazing.
incredible. I could relate a little bit. I grew up with my mom
Yeah.
only. My dad was around. He just lived. He was long distance. He lived up north. I lived in LA. So it
Yeah.
was hard sometimes. Anytime there's a single parent, right, single dad or single mom, you're gonna go through some hardships, right? And I can understand where you're coming from. Overall, it was. I'm super grateful and thankful for like all that she was able to do for us. Because
Yes.
it's not easy. And being a parent now, it just I'm just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
man, like she was a go getter, she was a doer. So I understand with that. And then with the college, man, you didn't miss nothing out. You didn't miss out on the college, man. We went to college,
Yeah.
and I have a degree, and again, maybe this is my fault. I don't know, but it's never really like someone was like, you got a degree, okay, cool, like let me give you this like X amount of money, like like no, it was always like it was always a grind. I
Yeah,
felt like,
Yeah.
right?
totally.
And so it was such a grind that I was able to like discover Bitcoin, and so a couple things I wanted to mention too is like love your name, Mexican magician. Love your
Thank you.
gear that you're rocking. Dirty hands, clean money. You're
Yes,
saying,
that's
I love it.
amazing.
We
I
got to
love
check it
it.
out. You got to send us the website
Yes.
after. Definitely check it
I
out.
will
Yeah.
check it out.
Let's go. Let's see here.
Oh,
Dirty
that's
hands, clean
cool.
money. Nice,
Yeah.
man.
That's
Shout out to the
super
guys at Bitcoin Sovereign. They made it for me. It's pretty
Dude,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
great.
so
That's
good.
awesome. So where did this name come from? Mexican magician. Like where does that stem from?
It's my boss. Like basically, we've had a couple situations, but the main situation where we had this pipe that was ceramic, which is clay, and
Okay.
it's a main sewer line, so it just kept breaking and breaking. So we just have
Yeah.
to keep tunneling in, tunneling in. It's like
Yeah.
a 7 foot hole, and I was so far in, all you could see was my ankle sticking out, you
Wow.
know. But I finally
Wow.
got it, and I got the band over it, tightened it, with the drill, and came
Oh
out.
my
My boss was like, "Bro, Mexican magic,"
dude.
like,
Nice. And
you
so
know what I
you
mean?
just been running. You
You
just been
Yeah.
running
So
you
with
ran
it.
with that name.
ever since, yeah. So like basically every time I do something, he's always just like Mexican magic. He's like,
Oh,
Dude,
just
that's
call me
that's
to get it done.
dude,
that's
that's cool.
cool. That's really cool. What an
That's really
interesting
cool.
story. I mean, who would have thought, you diving into this hole basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
We
recommend it. It's not safe,
yeah.
but
No,
I
I'm
did
gonna
it.
stay far away as
Yeah,
possible.
I'm also
I'm
pretty
gonna leave
good.
it up to the magician.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. So how long have you been doing this for? Like, is
Uh,
it like
About
plumbing?
6
Is it
years.
6 years now?
About 6 years, yeah. I
Nice.
thought about that question for a long time because I've done, like, construction on and off, but sometimes when I started out, I was a laborer, so I would just show up,
Yeah.
there's just an X on the ground, there's a shovel, and they're like, "Just dig."
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say I was, like, a skilled laborer,
Yeah.
but I would say, like, altogether about 6 years.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's
and
awesome.
I went from a apprentice, like, from literally just a helper, digging
Yeah.
trenches, to an apprentice, to being a lead, to now I'm the head sales technician at my company.
Wow,
Dude,
that's
that's amazing.
amazing.
That's
Yeah, and we make
amazing.
we make, like, 6 figures, like, we do well,
That's
like
so good.
and I was, like, homeless, dude, like, you know what I
I
mean? It's
know,
crazy.
I know. That's what
Yeah,
makes your story even more great, right? And then also, I think
yeah,
it's so cool too. Like overnight, like I just feel like you've just been like all over. I call it Twitter still, X Twitter. I
same.
just feel like you just like came up out of nowhere with it, and you just had like you just got this quick following right away, and I could understand why. It's contagious. You have good energy. You're in the trenches showing your work.
Mhm.
It's
Thank
just
you.
great seeing that type of stuff. And then you're just like converting it to Bitcoin. Just kind of share with me. So where did Bitcoin come? Like when did it like insert into your life?
Yeah.
Man, so I'm a class of 2024. So when I first
Okay.
started buying Bitcoin,
Nice. Okay.
I was watching some videos and they were talking about like you could study all you want, but just go buy it. I was like, sure, I'll buy $50. Boom.
Mm,
I started buying it, and then I started doing some research. I bought some books, like Lawrence Lepard, The Big Print. I started reading that.
Amazing.
Really opened my eyes to like everything that's going on and how I can prepare my family and like how I can sacrifice now for the future later,
Yeah.
and how I can pass that on to my son that he should sacrifice now
yeah.
for the future, and like how that actually builds like a family structure and a family culture of
Mhm.
success. And I just started like I didn't have very much like financial education, like I said
Yeah.
earlier. So I had
Yeah.
to kind of try to find it. I had to find a way. I knew that the dollar was I didn't understand inflation, right? People were like, the dollar's losing value. I was like, what do you mean the dollar's a dollar? I don't understand what
Right.
you guys are they don't teach that in school.
Yeah. They
And
don't
then
teach anything in school.
no,
They
yeah,
don't
they
teach
don't, yeah.
anything valuable in
Anything you
school.
need. Yeah.
And then I started to look into Bitcoin, and I saw that it was I want to say hedged against inflation. Like I
Hmm.
basically the way that I can describe it, like in simpleton terms for myself,
Yeah.
was that the price in fiat was always going up. Everything was always more fiat. And the
Hmm.
price in Bitcoin was always going down. Everything was always less Bitcoin. That's when I
Yeah.
started to understand like, hey,
Hmm.
every fiat dollar that I put into this asset later on is going to multiply no matter what. And then
Absolutely.
I started to panic and say, I need to buy this before
Yeah.
I don't have any. And like it's crazy because consumerism is so huge, and especially in California, everyone
Yeah.
wants to that's why I wanted to bring a different perspective to
Hmm.
X or to Twitter. I wanted to say, hey, everyone's trying to push this. Hey, you hit a couple keys twice a day and you're a millionaire. You get all these cars, you do this. You can do that. If you could do that, more power to you. But what
Right.
I'm trying
Absolutely.
to say is that you can learn a trade, you can go work with your hands, you can make a really good living, and then you can start to convert that into some kind of tangible intrinsic value. And then you could pass that on to your kids, and kind of build a family, a culture of success, like I said
Yeah.
earlier.
Absolutely.
That's
No,
so
that's
good.
really good. I can totally connect with you on that because you're class of 24. I'm class of 2, but I
Ooh,
kind of like put my foot in the water like in 2020, just
yeah.
buying altcoins and all this stuff. Before I even get started, so did you just go into you just bought Bitcoin? Have you only bought Bitcoin only or have you ever dabbled with those poop?
I don't even want to say this. I don't even want to say this on camera, but
I
yeah,
know. Hey,
No,
but we all have that journey though. We've all gone
yeah,
through a
like
journey.
I didn't know. The
you're
first
right.
Yeah.
thing that I get is Bitcoin is already too high. You're never
Yep.
gonna get rich off it. Just buy this coin called Joe
Mm,
Biden's whatever,
Yeah.
and it's gonna make you rich. And I'm
Trump
like,
coin,
okay,
Biden coin.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I didn't want to say a bad word or something on here, but you know what
yeah,
I mean. And it's just the adrenaline. It's like the time preference is so high. It's like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get rich in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Once again, like no
Exactly.
hard work, no effort, no
Mhm.
consistency, just gamble. Let's see what we could do. So
Exactly.
once I was able to start to see that, okay, this is a little bit of a casino, like I need to get into some kind of fundamentals. I need to talk to people that are older, that have a little
yeah.
bit more experience, that have been doing this for a while. Then I start
Mm,
to read. It's crazy. I joined the Bitcoin army. I started
Mhm.
reaching out and I get DMs back. It's like these people
Yeah.
so
are just
cool.
willing to offer information to me because
It's
I'm
so good.
asking it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if
It's so good. It's
yeah.
that's
yeah.
so good.
I've
Did you
I
want to add anything?
yeah, I was gonna say I've noticed whenever Anthony is on X, I'm not personally on X right now, but he'll share with me like the Bitcoin army and stuff, and it seems like everyone is just super helpful and willing to,
Mhm.
give some information, super supportive of each other too, which is super cool to see because what is it? Rising tide raises all ships, right? And so to see that everyone is working towards kind of the same goal, to be able to for everyone to be successful. And what I've learned a little bit from Anthony too is that it seems like Bitcoin kind of evens out the playing field a little bit where you can, everyone can get a little piece of the pie rather than just all the wealthy getting wealthy all the time and the poor staying
Mhm.
poor, right? So it's like everyone kind of has a way to have like what you want, succession or legacy passed on to their family. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've noticed that too.
Bitcoin, the thing, beautiful part about Bitcoin is it doesn't need another party, right, to
Yes.
be successful. So, like,
Mhm.
for instance, if I'm like sitting here, I make a little bit of money and I'm like, how can I turn this into a hard asset? If I want to get into real estate or I have to get my finances straight. I have to go
Yeah.
to the bank. I have to get a loan. They have to approve me. All this
Right.
stuff. Bitcoin is the easiest hard asset for me to access and to self custody, put away, and it's
Yeah.
nobody's business what I have. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you
So good.
100%.
I was gonna ask because I'm a beginner, right? I'm learning, and you're class of 2024. What's a mistake that you feel that maybe you made in the beginning that beginners like me could learn from? If you're just starting out and you're just trying to like understand, oh wow, this whole money thing is like I don't know. Maybe I need to rethink it. What's something that
Mhm.
like you learned hindsight? What someone like me could learn from that?
Like a mistake I made in Bitcoin or a mistake about money or
Uh,
both?
Bitcoin,
Both.
yeah,
Both.
both maybe? I don't
Okay.
Yep.
know.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say the biggest mistake I made was thinking that I wasn't smart enough for Bitcoin. I thought, oh, self custody hardware, that sounds complicated. I
Right.
don't want to mess it up. I don't think I can handle this. I'd
Yes.
rather have the government take care of it, or I'd rather have someone
Mhm.
else make
Mm,
sure I'm okay.
yeah.
And I think what I did was I just took practice. Big mistake. I used to keep everything on an exchange,
Yeah.
and that would give
Absolutely.
them my keys, my private keys, and them
Mhm.
access to all my funds and the ability. Basically, takes away everything that why I want Bitcoin,
Mm,
right? Because it gives
Exactly.
them custody of it. Yeah. So what I do is I practice putting a Bitcoin on my hardware wallet and then I
mm.
practice taking it off, just a little
Mhm.
bit, just
So
so
good.
that I get used to it.
Yes.
And
So good.
yeah,
So good.
stuff like that. Just like the book reading, I'll buy the book and then I'll buy the audio so I can hear
Mhm.
it and then I can read it and then that way
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
absorb
That's
everything.
that's
Uh,
so good because I mean, I'm starting to read more books like about money in general and then Bitcoin also. And I felt the same way. It's like I know I'm smart, it's like I know I'm a smart person, but like this feels so like outer like crazy, right? Like
Overwhelming, right? Yeah.
overwhelming, yeah, and Anthony would be like, "You gotta do this," it's like, it's just like fired up, right? And I'm just like, "I'm good.
yeah.
Let me just take
Yeah.
it in bite sizes, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
you're throwing a whole loaf of bread at my face right now. I need some breadcrumbs, you
Yeah.
know." So, but thank you. That's very helpful, especially for someone
Yeah.
who's like newer and who might be listening to this podcast too.
Yeah, and that's what I learned too, is like from with my wife, is like when I would go out and I would talk to people and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I would try to orange pill people, right? And just try to talk to them as much as possible. and like just tell them, hey, this is my something you might need to consider and read a little bit on it. I'd recommend a book or a podcast. And it was crazy. Everybody would look at me like I was speaking Chinese or another language. So then I would try to give breadcrumbs. You can like, lead them to the water fountain, but like you can't force them to drink it. It's just unfortunate that, most people don't take the time because we're so busy, right, with life. But you have to make time. You have to make time for things that are important and then things that can possibly change your life, right? Like that's why kudos to you. You start asking questions.
Yeah.
And I would love for someone to ask me a Bitcoin question, right? I'd be like, all right, here we go. And so the fact that the Bitcoin Army, just to give some context back there to everyone that's watching this, so the Bitcoin Army is on X, and it's a community, and so shout out to the Bitcoin Army, and so it's just a bunch of Bitcoiners supporting each other and loving on each other and uplifting and just talking about Bitcoin and helping people out, right? People that want to
Mhm.
learn. It's another great space to be able to talk about Bitcoin because sometimes you just feel like a little lone wolf out there, just talking about it.
I was gonna ask too, like since we're talking about this, I mean, Anthony, you guys could probably talk to anybody if they ask you one question, you're like, you gotta, you could just like basically throw up on them. You could just,
That's the
but
plan.
how has Bitcoin influenced some conversations with friends, with family? Like, has it changed any of those conversations? Has anyone like, piqued interest in Bitcoin more, or are you just like like just sharing organically and just,
Were there any conversations at Thanksgiving
yeah.
table?
Well,
Right.
I wish I could tell you guys that like it's just growing so good, like I'm just
Yeah,
spreading the orange pill everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's like the conceptualizing what Bitcoin is to some people, it just isn't clicking. No
yeah,
matter how much I love them or care about
Yeah.
yeah,
them, like they're just like, but when do I pull my money out and
Uh,
make a bunch of money? And I'm like, no, 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 that's not what I'm talking about. Like, well,
yeah.
I'm gonna wait for it to go down so then I could buy it, and then when it goes up, I'll sell it. And I'm like, I
Not
get what you're
yeah.
saying, but this isn't what we're trying to do here. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Right.
Like
yeah,
once you're able to think past that and kind of sacrifice like your own how do I explain this? Like I'm not depending on Bitcoin to make me rich.
yeah,
Like I have my cash flow like
Yes.
from working. Does that make sense?
Right.
But
yeah,
I'm depending on Bitcoin to protect me from the thief of inflation. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So that when I go to sleep at night, doesn't come and steal my kid's inheritance away from him.
yeah.
You
Mm,
know what
No,
I'm saying?
absolutely.
Because I've seen people work their entire life. My knee's going out, man. It's going to be worth it. I've seen people work their entire life, and then at the end of the day, they have a house, and the inflation just took over with all the property tax, and you know what I mean. They get
yeah.
robbed overnight, and I just don't want that to happen to me and my family. So that's why I found Bitcoin. They're still thinking about it as like a quick get rich quick scheme. I'm going to
No,
put a
you have
couple
to
of grand
think.
down and yeah, exactly. You gotta lower your time preference and think about the future. Once you're able to do that and you swallow that pill, like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to pull this money out for a long time. If I
Yeah,
even do pull it out,
yep,
that's when you start winning. That's
yeah.
when that's you get it through a cycle or two, and then you're gonna be like, oh wow, this is all worth it.
Wow, this is amazing. Yeah. You know what's so funny that what you shared right now, Josh, is I learned Bitcoin. It takes me back to when I first got into like corporate America. For example, I don't want to name any names because I have like a lot of family and friends from that time and current. But just to give you some perspective, which is wild. I remember these girls. They worked at the mortgage company I worked with, right, for years. I'm talking maybe 30 plus years, and they're retiring. This lady poured her blood, sweat, and tears and miles into this job back and forth, leaving her kids, leaving her family. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's normal. We do it. We currently still
Yeah.
do it. And so she's retiring and like they give her a cake. A cake. Hey, thank you for 30 years. Like this
Man,
lady like made them so much money, especially when you know how valuable you are to your job.
Yeah.
And there's like a cake. And just
Yeah.
these like off the wall things that you're like, do they value us? You have
breaks my
to
heart.
ask it, and I understand the business concepts and stuff. So it also makes Bitcoin that much valuable. Let me put in my job, my work, my 9 to 5,
Mm.
and then I'll go ahead and store my energy and my money and convert it into the hardest asset, right? Which is Bitcoin. It rings so true to so many things, right? There's so many people out there that just work their butt off, and then sometimes they're still working. They still have to work, and then they're like have this question mark around their head, like why? But if you understand, the system that we're playing and the system that we're in, you can kind of take the next step to like, do the work and figure out what you need to what kind of moves you need to make on that. Would you like to add anything, Dan?
No, what you guys shared is super eye-opening for me because as I'm listening, it's like, I take in bits and pieces from conversations and how people's, perspective of things are. But it's very true. It's disheartening when you put your, time and energy into something, and we would love to think, oh, they're gonna value this, me. You guys, we're just another person, and they're gonna find the next person the next day, right? So you're right. You need to put it into something else that's gonna live longer than you. Potentially,
100%.
and so it's been really cool to kind of learn more about Bitcoin, because as much as I would hear from Anthony, I was like, I don't even totally fully understand what's happening right now. But I do trust that it's a positive thing. It's moving our family in the
Mhm.
right direction, right?
Yeah.
So
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna introduce you to the magician. I'm gonna stop talking.
yeah, yes, it's probably helpful, right?
I got you.
Awesome. So what were some of the first books, that you started reading to kind of help you understand a little bit more about
Oh, you're
money?
good.
He's gonna get his books. I like
I
it.
got this one, of
Nice.
course. My
Yes.
favorite right here.
So
Okay.
good.
And
So
The
good.
then
big print.
my buddy wrote this book right here.
Yeah,
And
I
this is
saw
kind
that
of,
on the Bitcoin Armory. I gotta grab that. I saw everybody on that. That one's good.
so,
Is,
so
is
I'm
it
gonna
is it
check
good?
that out. I'm just about to start it. I'm just
Oh,
Okay.
about
okay,
to start
nice.
it. Yeah. Because
Nice.
I'm a
Would
slow
it
reader. It takes me a long time. So
Take your time.
Same. I'm
yeah.
actually a very slow reader because I can fall asleep super fast when I start reading. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I'm like, it's a muscle that I am still building every day. But it's called Blood of the Bourgeoisie. Is that what I saw? And
I don't want to butcher it. Blood of the
Butcher
bourgeois
it.
Borghese, I want to say.
bourgeoisie. I think that's how you say it.
Borghese. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Sorry about
Okay,
that. We butchered it.
is that also a Bitcoin money, or is it like
Yeah,
about money?
it's supposed to be a like a made up story, where he kind of like incorporates Bitcoin into it. Yeah. So
Okay,
That's cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun to
that
read.
might be
Yeah.
helpful
Yeah,
for
So
no.
me.
We'll grab it. We'll
and then I
grab it
just
for
got
sure.
the Bitcoin Standard too on audiobook. So
So
I have a
good.
long drive in the morning, and it's a
Yeah.
way to when I'm driving in the morning, I like to pray and kind of like
Yeah.
focus myself, and then
Yeah.
on the way
Yeah.
back, I like to decompress and I'll put an audiobook on and kind of listen to everything. So by the time I get home, all the crazy stuff from work is just it's gone. I don't want to bring
Yeah.
Yeah.
that home. So
That's
yeah,
good. No,
That's
that's really good.
Thanks for sharing those because I feel like I needed a new something. What are we reading right
yeah.
now? I don't know why.
We just got this book from Natalie Brunell. And it's called Bitcoin is for Everyone. And it's
I
a
want to grab that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a colorful book. Like the front cover, I mean, is like colorful. And no, it's good so far. It's really good because great for first time Bitcoiners that are like kind of getting their feet wet or like trying to figure it out. So it's actually a great book for her because it's like
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it's like as if a 5-year-old can understand
She
it.
gives really good analogies,
Mhm.
very simple analogies that like help connect the dollar to how Bitcoin can change a lot of the things that are going on, right? So for
Mhm.
me, I need analogies. I need like pictures, visuals almost of like being able to understand it better. So far I've really appreciated that book. It's Bitcoin is for everyone. That's another good starter for, those who are listening also.
Hey
Yeah.
Josh, there's like burger shack place. It's not here on the West Coast. It's like I think it's more on the Midwest or on the East Coast where they're accepting Bitcoin for like,
It's like shake and
Shake and
bake or
Shack
something.
or something. Yeah, I don't know. I
Shake
don't
and
want to.
Shack, Shake and
Yeah,
Shack.
I think
Yeah,
it's Shake and
something like
Shack or
that.
something. I don't want to butcher it, but I heard
Yeah,
a lot of
someone was
people
telling
are
me
like,
about that.
yeah, people like buy, their spend their Bitcoin on that. I just have a question for you. Like, especially since you're in it, right? You just got in class of 24 and you're stacking, right? And would you spend your Bitcoin right now on a burger and fries?
Man, I guess I would.
You
Yeah,
would?
I would.
I
I
just
would
always
just
have
only
like,
because my cash flow is good, so I can put
yeah,
it back.
okay, cool.
Mm.
I'm just like, I'm like on the fence because it's like, I'm like, man, I just like want to keep stack. Like, I wouldn't want like, I see both sides because I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't wanna spend my Bitcoin on, like, a burger, like, I just want it to, like I'm in stacking I'm accumulation mode, I'm just
I wouldn't
stacking.
make a habit of it. I wouldn't make a habit of it, but
Yeah.
I would do it just for, like, the adoption process
Yeah,
of, like, the world
absolutely.
scene. Like, I went to go eat today, and I had this hat on, and the owner was like, "Hey, we don't accept Bitcoin, just so you know." Like, he's
Wha
joking with me, like, he's my
Yeah, yeah,
friend,
yeah.
like,
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a diner next door, and I'm
Okay.
like, "Oh, not yet," you know?
Yeah, not
You know?
yet, exactly,
Yeah, and he
exactly.
was like, "Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, huh?" Like, but he just kinda threw it out there, like, kind of teasing me, you know? But
Yeah, and I
yeah.
like how you tease them back because it's just a
yeah,
matter of time. It's
it's
just a
coming, you
matter.
know what I mean? Adoption's coming. So
It's
I would
coming.
do it just because it's good for the network, you know, for
That's
other
great.
people to
No,
see it.
that's really good.
I
That's
I have a follow-up question. So if the adoption process happens, like, will then will that become the new currency? And, like, will it still hold the value of, like, the I guess, I don't know if the right word's integrity of the Bitcoin, but, like, would it keep? Because again, you wanna keep stacking, right? Like, so would it I know we want people to adopt it, but do we want to?
That's a great question,
I don't
and
know.
that's why I asked them because there's a lot of
Yeah,
people who are like, "Well, I wanna keep stacking," right? Because you understand the value that
yeah.
Bitcoin holds, right? And how we're so early, but at the same time, on the other fence, I also see people like, "Well, I need to let's we can't if we spend it, we're never gonna if we don't spend it, we're never gonna have adoption," right?
Mm,
Like, that's part of the process of, you know,
Mm.
having adoption, kinda go sooner is like it's money, right? So why don't we spend it like money? And so I see both sides.
yeah.
I was just always curious, like especially for someone like when you just started, right? And so like, are you trying to spend like your Bitcoin, or are you just trying to stack your Bitcoin? So
I'm not trying to spend it, but I
yeah,
would use it as like, like I said, to promote the network, you know, I
yeah,
would do
Yeah.
it for that.
no,
But I would do it maybe like say in the future, adoption starts to kick in,
yeah,
like we start to use more of the layer two, the lightning, so it's faster, you know?
yeah,
Mm,
I do think that we could use it for like bigger purchases, you know, like buying a home, buying car, you know, or like peer to
hmm,
peer. Like, say I do a plumbing job and I'm like, hey, you
yeah,
know,
that would
I
be great.
accept Bitcoin. Boom, and it's no one's business. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I think
that's
that's
cool. That's
yeah.
a really cool concept to be paid like that, especially yeah, that's
I
amazing.
think it'd be cool for the trades to start opening up something like that. You know?
That'd be
Yeah.
so good.
That's an
That'd be so
interesting
good.
perspective for sure. That's awesome. We've talked about that too because we are also in Southern California and just, it's crazy like to buy a house, like all these things. And I've often told him like, okay, this is pre me being skeptical and all that stuff. And I was like, so you're gonna build all this, stack all this money, and we're gonna just keep renting, or like are we going to be able to buy a house, like what does that mean, and I think a lot of couples have these conversations, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they're realistic conversations. Even if you're single, you're like, okay, well, I have this much amount of Bitcoin, like this could easily,
Mm-hmm.
transfer
Buy a house.
over to a down payment or whatever, whatever. Again, everyone's at their own pace.
Yeah.
But I've often asked that question, especially before I've been educating myself, of course, and wanting to, keep growing that. So yeah, do you have a perspective on that? Like, what do you? I don't know, just to have like a,
Yeah,
you know,
I have a
yeah, go
naive
for it.
perspective. You know, it's a little bit newer.
Uh huh.
I think that you can financially educate yourself to maneuver like around that, you know, and
Mm,
not lose your Bitcoin stack. I'm not at all advocating getting like a Bitcoin backed loan or like
Yeah.
risking losing your Bitcoin, but there are programs where you can get a huge stack, and then instead of selling your Bitcoin, you could get a loan against your Bitcoin and then do the down payment or whatever
Yeah.
your situation could be, depending on how big your stack gets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
It's good
I've
to know.
seen
That's
there's stuff out there like that
It's
that you
leverage,
can.
you know, there's financial leverage, especially
Mhm.
like our kids, the second generation, when they
Yeah.
have multiple coins and they're just going to be like, they have that access to
yeah,
use
Mhm.
as a financial tool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a
Absolutely.
good perspective to
People
have on
do it
that.
with like real estate all the time or
Yeah.
whatever they have. Even like me, like if I get the plumbing situation situated, I have 100 grand in plumbing equipment. I'll
Mhm.
be able to use that as leverage if I needed to, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
maneuver, you know.
Yeah, no, collateral. Collateral.
There you go.
No, that's a really good point. And then so speaking about like equipment and stuff, like your car just got broken into, right? Or what
Yeah.
happened with that? What was up with that?
My work van, I came to work, you know, I had my nice clothes, went to go hang it up. went to go open my door, and I was like, "Oh, man, my window's broken." Looked inside, and my $10,000 camera gone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, I'm
Dude,
so
and then so is
yeah.
sorry.
that something that you have to, like, provide, or is that something that the company provides?
My boss took care of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Now, if I buy my own camera, buy my own equipment, I can ask for more of a percentage as far
Okay,
as work goes because I get my hourly plus commission. So,
nice,
yeah,
nice. Oh, I see what you're saying there. So,
I
like, if you
see.
mhm,
almost have, like, your own equipment and your own tools, then it would be a little bit less it would be more advantageous for you because he's actually leveraging more equipment and stuff like that, so there's a
yeah,
trade-off. I got you. I got you.
exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is
Man,
a
that is
shame.
such a bummer. That is such a,
Yeah,
like, I
it's a
don't
low
know.
blow, you know?
It's a,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just very frustrating. I feel like we hear that more often. I feel like, I don't know if I mean, it was probably happening when we were younger, but I feel like it's just so much more so.
so
It,
common.
it's so
Yeah.
It's so common.
common. It's
It's
so,
not the first time we got our camera stolen at Home Depot when we were inside the Home Depot parking
Oh
lot.
my
my
running
God.
you're, like, in getting some stuff, and then boom.
Come out, and I
Dude.
was like, "Why is the door open?" I ran out, and they just got in their cars and took off, you know?
Dude,
So,
gone.
Oh
yeah, yeah, it's
gosh,
Wild.
happened a couple times.
man,
Wild.
that's super frustrating. I'm sorry that happened. That's awful.
But you
Wild.
know what? That's what teaches you that, everything I go through as a man, or as a human, I get to soak that in, I get to process the uncomfortability of the situation, and
Yeah.
then I get to see how I got through it so that I could teach my kids how to do
Yeah.
the same thing, So I take it all in and I'm like, okay, so bad things happen to good people. Bad
Yeah.
things
Yep.
happen when you're still trying to win. You don't give up and say, well, that's what I get for trying to do good. You
Yeah.
don't do any of that. You keep
That's
going forward and you
Yes.
overcome
Yeah.
and
yeah,
and you
that's
get a new
so good.
camera. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so good because, like, people get discouraged, right? Like, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" But, like, it's like
Mhm.
literally every bad thing and good thing is a blessing. And I think the bad ones are even bigger blessings because then you could learn from them. Just keep
Mhm.
moving. Like,
yeah,
always think about when people, like, have a bad day, and I'm just always like, "Man, think about all the stuff that you've overcome so far in your life, right? You're still here, right?
Yep.
And everything's okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, it's not gonna stop now, right? And so I completely agree. And then, like, I know, like, you were sharing earlier that you had, like, a faith, right? Like, you're just praying and stuff or getting your mind right. Like, same here. Like, we have to pray every morning,
every morning.
and then, like, if I don't, I'm like, I'm off. It's like the
Yeah.
weirdest thing. I'm off. And I think just having a faith too just kind of realigns you, right? Having those values.
Yep.
And Bitcoin has values, right? It has, like, eating right, getting fit, right? Doing push-ups in the morning, right? Like, it's so good. Like,
Yeah,
we have, like, this in the Bitcoin army, we have, like, this like a push-up challenge, like, so 150 push-ups
That's
all
why
the
you're doing
way.
push-ups all over the house?
Yeah, so I'm doing push-ups all over the house. I'm recording myself like, oh,
right. It,
so
it has you chasing like self-improvement.
yeah.
You always want to look for like how can I improve my situation more? How can I improve what I'm doing more? Or how can I become better at what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was actually one of my questions prior to you sharing this too. It was how has learning Bitcoin kind of changed your daily mindset, your daily habits? If you want to add to that, you kind of already shared a little bit about your daily habits a little bit, but just having the background that you had and how much that's changed. Yeah, I'd love to kind of hear more about that.
Just realizing that I was handed some bad information growing up and looking for new information, and then realizing that there's good information out there and there's good people willing to offer that information
Mhm.
has changed me completely. It has made me think completely different of the world. I'm
Mhm.
not as paranoid. I think there's good people out there. I've gone to known some good guys in the Bitcoin army that text me every day. We do push-ups every day. We
Cool.
got up to like 150, 250. We just do them every day. We film them, we put them on there. So that's consistency, right? Like
Yep.
it
Mhm.
taught me that I used to call out a little bit more to work than I do now, but I show up every day and I'm winning
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And I think consistency and buying every week, no matter what the price, because I show up to work no matter what, because I want to build my career, not because I want to get paid that week. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? My
Totally.
time preference lowered. Yeah. I was able to see like, hey, if I put in a decade of work and not just 5 years or 3 years, I could really do something with my life. Like I can really change it and make a beautiful life for my kids.
So
Mm-hmm.
good.
So yeah, that's what I think it did. It just made me open my mind to think that there's a different way to learn and there are
Yep.
just
Mhm.
different people to learn from. And just
Mhm.
because I was raised a certain way or things came out a certain way or I was a victim of my circumstance at some
Right.
point, but I
Yeah.
had to grow up at some point and become an adult and
Yeah.
realize that if I kept making those decisions, then I couldn't blame mom or couldn't blame dad or
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
blame cousin anymore. That I'm an adult. If I continue that, that's on me. Once I
Yeah.
took responsibility for myself, then I
Yeah.
was able to overcome those demons that I had inside and learn a trade and become a good person.
So good. That's so encouraging to hear because oftentimes we hear people are like, "Well, this is my life. Like I was born into this and da da da."
Mhm.
And they use it as like a crutch almost to an extent, right? Because it's I love hearing your story or part of it is just being able to know that you don't have to live the way you live,
Mhm.
and you can choose um, you can choose your attitude each day. You can choose consistency. You can choose all these things. I try to remind myself, us raising 3 kids, choose joy. There is joy in this chaos. There is good in this chaos. There's always something positive happening. We just have to choose to see it.
Mhm.
And so that is such an encouraging mindset for a lot of people because some people do feel, and rightfully so, like you said, you were a victim of a circumstance, but if you continue to make those choices, you're kind of feeding into it.
You can either make an excuse or make it happen. You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
that's so
Like
good.
like I have every excuse in the book. I'm
Mhm.
dyslexic, I can't read good,
Mhm.
I have tattoos on my head, like
Yeah.
I have hair now. But like I come from a rough past. My dad this, my uncle's this. I used to be
Yeah.
stuck in addiction. I was homeless.
Yeah.
I could throw myself a pity party all day,
Oh,
fiesta, but that's not gonna raise my son. You
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
I had to make a decision when he was born, like, what kind of dad am I gonna be?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna continue this pattern, give up and leave like every male in my family ever has?
So
Like, I'll be
good.
the first grandpa, right? So
Yeah.
like my son, I didn't have a grandpa on my dad's side. My son didn't have a grandpa, unfortunately, on the dad's side. So I'm going to be the first grandpa to be around and to try to pass some of this knowledge down, some of this financial literacy, some of these life lessons down to the next generation. They're going to have someone to look up to.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's so encouraging. I love that so
That's
much.
so good.
And it's true.
Yeah.
There's good that comes out of everything, even like the worst situations. There's actually a book for children by John Maxwell. It's called Sometimes You Win and Sometimes You Learn. And he's like one of
Mm,
the biggest like leadership authors, I would say. But encouraged a lot of people to read that to their kids because it's
Mhm.
true. You're gonna win, and if you shift your mindset to to being a learning opportunity, then like, oh, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. No, you sometimes you win and sometimes you learn
Mhm.
from those opportunities. So
Yeah.
it made me think of that book as soon as you were sharing that a little bit.
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed. And then also, so a couple things I wanted to also to hit on. So Bitcoin price. So we want to get better at this. So I apologize. I apologize, Josh. So Bitcoin's price today is December 1st, 2025. So it's currently at 86,900 ish. So it dipped from this morning. I think it was like at 92. I just want to make sure I get the Bitcoin price on there as well. And then when it comes to Bitcoin, do you have any price predictions, Josh?
Man, that's the thing. I don't even I do think about it, but I think it's gonna reach 1 million by 2045.
Okay.
I think
By
that's where I'm
when?
looking at. 2045.
Okay.
2045.
Okay. Okay.
You
Long
know?
I thought you
term.
were
You
going to
got that
say
long term.
2025. I'm like, oh man, we
No.
better
You
keep
got that
going.
long term you got that long term
Yeah.
No, it's good
preference.
though.
No,
Yeah.
it is good. It is
'Cause
good.
that's like 20 years. That's like when I should start slowing down a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, so hopefully I have a couple coins for my kids set up with a
Yeah.
cash flow business and everything ready for them?
So good. And then if it ends up going way higher sooner, it's just like even better.
Yep.
You
You know?
Exactly.
know, that's so good.
It's so hard when you're a beginning investor and you need the money that you're investing. You
Yeah.
throw in $100 and it goes up to 125 and you're like, man, I got a bill to pay. So I got
Yeah.
to take this out. And now you take out half of it to pay the bill. And now you're only investing with this much. You really have to work on the income part, so that you
Yeah.
don't have to take out of your Bitcoin once it's put away. Once it's there,
Exactly.
you know,
Be done. Lock it up and then like look at it like later on down the
That's
road.
a really good tip though for people who are just starting out, right? Like that's a very valid like feeling,
Mhm.
especially being in the, economy that we're in. I mean, we've been in situations in early past where bills had to come first before we could put it into anything, even
True.
like our savings or,
Yeah.
wanting our
This was like
wants.
pre-Bitcoin
Yes,
before.
pre-Bitcoin, but that's actually kind of what helped us get out of
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
situation,
definitely.
So now that now that I think about it, I wasn't really thinking about it, but
Yeah.
yeah. But no, that's a really good tip for people who are just starting out or just, haven't thought of it that way, that, oh, I actually need to have cash flow in order for me to put it into something
Mhm.
else. So
Mhm.
that is a very,
Yeah.
very helpful
And
tip.
that's just like basic financial literacy
Yeah, and
too,
being
right? A lot of people do, what are you talking about? Like, I'd rather just buy this thing. We just
mm,
had Black Friday. I'd rather just buy this flashy new thing. It's on sale. And it's just nah.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Jordans,
Yeah.
Jordans, that's what they want. Like, as soon as they get their check, it's just things, things, things that poof.
Boom. I'm like,
It's
dude,
like
like
they work
that,
all
no
year
value. No
and
value.
it's all gone. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. And once you get that thing too, I feel like growing up, there was like a lot of things, right, that I wanted. And then once I got them, it was like, I thought it would like fulfill like this void, right? This hole. But no, it's just like, I was just like on to the next thing. When you just step back and you learn Bitcoin, like, I think there's nothing better than just like seeing your hard work, like just grow,
yeah,
right?
it's
It's
true.
like a
And you
treasure chest, man.
yeah, and you're just doing what you're like 5 years is gonna go by whether you invest or you don't invest, right? Whether you dollar cost average or you don't. And in 5 years is like,
Goes by
boom,
quick.
it's 2025. It was just 2020, right? And
Yeah.
now it's like now it's gonna be 2026.
Yeah.
And it's crazy even saying
Man,
that. It
that's so
sounds so futuristic.
It's gonna be a
2020,
good
yeah,
year.
2026, dude. We're going to
I
2026.
know, it's crazy, huh?
That's wild.
Well,
Thank you.
Josh, this has been awesome being able to get to
Yes,
know you.
of course.
You're just so real and genuine. And
Thank
I
you.
just really
Likewise.
appreciate, people who are willing to just be themselves, do the right thing. That was like one of the coolest things when when he would show me some of your videos on X too. I was like, this is so cool because it's
Yeah.
so true. It's like we don't want to get rich quick scheme or things like that. No, you have to work hard. You
Hmm.
have to earn things. You can't just expect things to happen super quickly.
Nope.
And I think the generation, like younger generation right now, does feel that way because things have been instantaneous
Hmm.
for a majority of their life, right? Not that we're super old, hopefully not, but
I
it's
feel
just a different upbringing, and so we had to earn a lot of the stuff that we're learning through. So I think that's such a good mindset to be sharing on X and such a big community for people to be like, oh yeah, like you don't just get muscles from sitting here. Oh, I actually have to do push-ups. I don't
Hmm.
get smarter or learn new things by just sitting here. I actually need to open a book.
Hmm.
Those types of things are just super encouraging for me and just for anyone else like who just really needs that mindset shift to just grow their life and build a life that they want. But where can people find you? Where can people kind of connect with you? Where are you most where is your presence usually?
man, I'm on Twitter for sure. On
Yeah.
Okay.
X, let's see. I'm at Joshua DHCM. Dirty Hands, Clean Money. That's me.
Okay.
That's what I
Nice.
do.
Nice.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that. So this was awesome, Josh.
It was
Thank
great. It
you
was great.
so much. I really
I
appreciate
appreciate
you
it.
hopping on with us, taking time out. And this was
Mhm.
super helpful. And again, like
I'm here
just
to be of
looking
service,
forward
bro.
to this. Thank you. Just looking forward to like connecting with you more on X and talking more Bitcoin with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Well,
bro.
thanks again. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
both.
Have a good one, Josh.
All right, guys.
If you want more of the Lunas, like and subscribe to our show, leave a review, and share this episode. It helps us reach more people learning about Bitcoin right alongside us. Until next time, stay curious, stay stacking, and we'll see you on the moon.